Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways to Catch a Killer.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I'll buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters. Meech home, the streets back, that's what I'm talking about. That's how real niggas come home and get it down.
50 Cent just straight up clowned Big Meech. And this wasn't just a light jab, this was a full-on roast session. After word spread that Rick Ross might have scammed Meech out of a jaw-dropping $120 million deal. That doesn't seem to be pocket change, but a whole generational wealth. Ross had been hyping up Meech like he was about to walk into Hollywood as the next blockbuster king. We're talking about movies, documentaries, deals so big they sounded like Marvel-level budgets. Ross made it seem like Meech's name alone was about to print money in Los Angeles. But here's the kicker, none of it ever came true. Not a single deal materialized. No cameras, no scripts, no studios. Just smoke, mirrors, and promises floating in the air. And now, while Meech is left looking broke and betrayed, 50 Cent is laughing from the sidelines, turning Meech's name into an industry punchline. The internet being the internet. They're already wilding. Fans are joking that the only way this ends is if Meech steps into the boxing ring with 50. Just imagine, Big Meech versus 50 Cent. Pay-per-view numbers through the roof. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's rewind and break down how this messy saga spiraled out of control. After years of being locked away and trying to reinvent himself, Meech was banking on a comeback.
Bad guy out of all of this.
Who's the bad guy? I don't think there's a bad guy.
No, yes it is. That Vlad, let's talk about it.
I think Meech is the one that made a mistake.
No.
No? You think 50?
No.
Lil Meech?
No.
Who am I forgetting now?
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that would lead to.
I'm doing right now, my shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still count paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby.
He thought the streets were going to embrace him. The industry was going to respect him, and the checks were finally going to roll in. And that's when Rick Ross swooped in with the promises. Ross came in hot, throwing around figures like $120 million in film projects. He wasn't whispering in Meech's ear, he was talking loud, like he already had studio executives ready to cut checks. And for Meech, this looked like salvation. On paper, this was his ticket out. His story was finally going to pay him back. But here's the brutal reality. Ross never delivered. No scripts, no sets, no lights, no cameras. Just Ross using Meech's legendary name as a pawn in his ongoing war with 50 Cent. And that's the part that really burns. Because while Ross was busy flexing, 50 was out here doing the real work. He funded the BMF series, he paid for Lil Meech's acting classes, he literally built a stage for Meech's son to shine. Those are hard receipts you can't argue with. On the other side, Ross, just big talk. And it wasn't only 50 saying it either. Tony Yayo broke it down plain and clear, reminding everyone who actually put skin in the game. Now word on the street is this: Big Meech is sitting frustrated, broke, and waking up to the fact that Ross only ever linked with him to take slick shots at 50. To the public, it looks like Meech traded his legacy for empty promises, and that stings. But that was just the warm-up, because once Lil Meech, his own son, got caught in the middle, this saga went from messy to flat-out explosive. Lil Meech was spotted on camera hanging out with Rick Ross at the club. Music blasting, cameras flashing, the whole room lit up in red, and there's Lil Meech shoulder to shoulder with Ross, whispering in his ear. Smiling like old friends, posing for pics. The wild part, just days earlier, leaked text supposedly showed Lil Meech saying F Ross. So when that video dropped, the internet exploded. Fans were confused, the streets were buzzing, make it make sense. But it didn't, not even close. And of course, 50 wasn't about to stay quiet. He jumped online and dropped one of his classic troll bombs. He joked that Ross told Lil Meech to hand over his dad's address so he could send some Wingstop over.
What kind of rich nigga cut his own grass? Why you out there cutting your own grass? You trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Let me ask you
The
this.
AC broken in the motherfucker.
Let me ask you this.
Funny on the surface, but listen closely. That wasn't just a joke. That was a coded shot. What 50 was really saying? Ross isn't feeding Meech an empire, he's just feeding him scraps. A couple wings, a side of fries, while 50 is the one serving full-course meals with real opportunities. And if you thought that was savage, just wait, because 50 wasn't done. Out of nowhere, he dropped a bombshell claim, one that had everyone's head spinning. He said Lil Meech was spiraling so bad that he personally had to step in and send him to rehab. According to 50, Meech was showing up to the BMF set completely lit. One time, he got so twisted that he threw up in the middle of a weapons test. Then when they checked his truck, they found whippets stuffed inside. 50 even admitted he had no idea what whippets were. He had to Google it. And when he explained it, the whole thing came off like he was the responsible adult, the one trying to save Lil Meech from crashing out, while his own father was out here co-signing reckless behavior. And it wasn't just internet talk. Lil Meech had already made headlines after being arrested at an airport, so 50's claims weren't far-fetched. They lined up with the chaos already out there. So now the whispers started. Was 50 the one who actually saved Lil Meech's career from completely falling apart? But here's the twist. After everything 50 did, Meech still seemed to lean towards Ross instead of showing gratitude to 50. That's when another voice entered the chat and turned this mess into a circus. Michael Rainey Jr., Tariq from Power. During a live, a fan asked him if he felt bad for Lil Meech. Michael didn't hold back, he didn't sugarcoat, he went savage, clowning Lil Meech straight up. That clip went viral instantly, and who do you think reposted it with a laugh? Yep, 50 Cent. And not only did he repost it, he doubled down in his caption, echoing Michael's words word for word like a stamp of approval. That move made it crystal clear. 50 doesn't just think Lil Meech is soft, he wants the whole world to think it too. And the timing couldn't have been worse for Meech, because now it wasn't just fans questioning his credibility, it was people inside 50's empire openly disrespecting him. But the truth is, this tension wasn't new. It had been brewing since Big Meech's so-called Welcome Back concert. The streets were expecting fireworks that night, a massive event stacked with rap heavyweights, a celebration that was supposed to be legendary. But instead of putting 50, the man who built the BMF series and elevated his son's career, front and center, Meech leaned on Rick Ross to hype the event. Ross was out there gassing it up, calling it history in the making. But when the night came, total disaster. The show never even happened. Promoters bailed, the hype collapsed, and all that energy turned into nothing. For 50, that flop was unforgivable. After everything he invested, being sidelined for Ross was pure disrespect, and that's when he turned ice cold. He accused Meech of cutting backroom deals with the feds, dragged him across the internet, and used every troll trick in the book to tear down Meech's image. To the streets, Meech's move looked like betrayal. He chose Ross over loyalty, and 50 made sure the world saw it that way. Instead of a glorious comeback, Meech ended up fumbling his own legacy. And when the pressure got too much, Meech finally clapped back. He pulled up an old picture of him and 50 standing together. But here's the twist. He slapped a giant rat emoji right over 50's face. No subliminals, no guessing games. He was straight up calling 50 a snitch. And he didn't stop there. In the caption, Meech labeled 50 an internet gangster, basically saying you don't stand on business in real life, you just troll from your phone. That's where things took a dangerous turn, because once you call 50 Cent a rat, there's no going back. Ross couldn't resist jumping in, of course he couldn't. The moment Meech threw that rat emoji at 50, Rose swooped in like a hype man on steroids. He started clowning, co-signing, and hyping Meech like he just signed the newest draft pick to his anti-50 squad. To fans, it looked less like friendship and more like a tag team wrestling move. Rick Ross and Big Meech standing shoulder to shoulder against a common enemy, 50 Cent. And Ross?
It's the biggest boss, Ricky Rose. The time has come. Meech on. February 13th, get your tickets right now. It's going down. We know Florida gonna be there. Miami gonna be there. The legend himself gonna be in the building, making history. Meech, who else coming?
The whole nation. Detroit, St. Louis, California, everybody. Atlanta, Georgia, ATL, stand up.
Woo. We gonna make history. Get your tickets right now. Y'all better be there February 13th. Meech on.
He didn't play it subtle. He flat out mocked 50, laughing at how pressed he looked about the new alliance. The clip went viral instantly. You had Ross grinning, tossing slick jabs, making it clear this wasn't just about hanging out, this was war by association. But here's where the irony slapped everybody in the face. 50 Cent was the one who actually did something for Lil Meech. He paid for acting classes, he gave him steady checks, he put him in the spotlight with the BMF series, opportunities that built his name outside the streets. Meanwhile, Ross, all he gave was empty promises, flashy photo ops, and a lot of noise. Still, somehow, Lil Meech leaned toward Ross instead of showing loyalty to the man who built his career from scratch. Fans didn't get it. They scratched their heads, and the confusion only fueled the next wild twist talk of a celebrity boxing match. Yeah, after the rap post and Ross's trolling, the internet went into overdrive. Memes everywhere, blogs buzzing. Suddenly it was Big Meech versus 50 Cent live in the ring. Some laughed, some cringed. Others said it'd be the biggest headline in hip-hop history. And Meech, he didn't exactly shut it down. When asked about 50, he hinted, even half joking, that he'd lace up gloves if it came to it. That was all the internet needed. One hint, boom. The fight talk spread like wildfire. People were already debating ticket sales, pay-per-view numbers, even fantasy scorecards like it was Mayweather versus Pacquiao all over again. But just as things reached a boiling point, Wack 100 entered the chat, and that's when the whole saga flipped upside down. See, Wack didn't come with memes or jokes, he came with bombs. He claimed this beef wasn't just about loyalty or trolling, it was about secrets. According to him, Meech's own confidant, Tammy Cowan, once confided to 50 that Meech had worked with federal authorities in other street cases. Now that's the nuclear button, because in street culture, the one thing you can't escape, the one rumor that destroys legacies, is being tied to the feds. And Wack didn't sugarcoat it. He claimed Tammy, who was deep in Meech's circle, told 50 flat out that Meech had flipped in other cases. Now, whether you believe it or not, just that whisper was enough to shake the room. Because for years, Meech was the symbol of loyalty, silence, and boss moves. The moment cooperation rumors touched his name, the streets went cold. The timing made it even nastier. Meech was already getting dragged, broke, clowned for his failed concert, mocked for riding Ross's coattails. Now, whispers of being tied to the feds, that's a scarlet letter in the game. And the internet, it ate it up. Memes exploded, old interviews resurfaced. People started side-eyeing everything Meech did, even questioning if his strange loyalty to Ross was less about friendship and more about keeping certain people quiet. Ross tried to spin it, saying 50 was just desperate to kill Meech's name, but fans weren't buying it. This was deeper than trolling. This was cracks forming in a myth that stood untouched for decades. And the part that stung the most, Wack even suggested Tammy wasn't just venting.
Trying to decide how we gonna roll at this Meech concert tonight. 2 lambs, 4 Raris, 5 double R's, something like that.
I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover, whipping work.
She might have had her own motives. Maybe she felt abandoned while Meech was locked up. Maybe she was mad about him trying to reclaim his life rights after they'd already been locked in with 50 for the BMF show. Either way, if she really was feeding info to 50, then Meech's empire wasn't crumbling from outside pressure. It was rotting from within. Then came one of the strangest moments yet, Big Meech popping out in public, rocking Kanye West's iconic graduation jacket. At first, it just looked like a flex fit, but fans, they read between the lines immediately. Was Meech signaling he'd graduated from the street code? Was he trolling the snitch rumors? Or was he mocking 50's most famous, the 2007 sales battle where Kanye's graduation outsold Curtis? Some said coincidence, others swore it was a deliberate poke. Either way, the symbolism was too loud to ignore. But here's the kicker: 50 stayed silent. And if you know anything about 50 Cent, silence is dangerous. He usually jumps at the chance to roast a fit, flame a photo, or clown an enemy. This time, nothing. No meme, no caption, not even a petty emoji, which is exactly why people started whispering, is 50 saving his ammo? Because when Curtis Jackson holds back, it usually means one thing: he's loading up something way bigger, and when he fires, it hits like a nuke. At this point, one thing's clear, this isn't just internet trolling anymore. For 50, this feels personal. Some say he feels betrayed. He put Lil Meech on, built his career, and then watched him cozy up to his sworn enemy. Others say it's about dominance. 50 doesn't just want to win, he wants to crush anyone who dares cross him.
Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. This shit gonna be special. Epic. Get your tickets right now.
You trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Let me ask you
The
this.
AC broken in the motherfucker.
Let me ask you this.
Letting Meech slide would make him look weak, and weakness, that's not in the 50s vocabulary. So if this really does spill from Instagram captions into a boxing ring, it won't just be entertainment, it'll be the final chapter in a war that's already gone too far. One man fighting to protect a legacy, the other trying to bury it for laughs. And with the way this saga keeps twisting, it feels less like rumor and more like the next explosive move is already locked and loaded. So I'll ask you, if this fight ever happens, who you got? Big Meech or 50 Cent? Drop your pick in the comments, smash that like, and don't forget to subscribe because this story, it's far from over.